What's up, Twitch?
Hello.
My name is Blake.
I'm Stefan.
We are here for the Old Cranky Man Collectibles Modern Championship Series Qualifier here at Game Kastle in Ankeny, Iowa.
It's a beautiful day.
Your feature match for round one is our very own Luke.
Yep.
He won the last one of these on Yawgmoth. He's in the feature match area for round one on Yawgmoth.
Shocking.
Playing against Jacob, who has brought Hammer.
Ooh, hammer time.
This is mono white hammer. He does not have the blue splash.
Yep.
So this is not a deck that I don't think we have covered this deck.
Never.
I don't think we've covered this deck. Between all of the modern tournaments and the team trios where we featured modern, I do not think we have ever seen this deck on camera before. So I'm thoroughly excited that Jacob has come packing some hammers today.
So this is one of the big decks that emerged after the unbanning of Stoneforge Mystic in modern.
Yes.
Jace the Mind Sculptor basically did nothing. Landed like a wet paper towel.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and but this deck with the printing of Colossus Hammer,
Yes.
Colossus Hammer, it just gets to cheat on the equip cost of everything.
Great.
Yeah. It also plays with one of the weird elements of layers where he can equip to a Yawgmoth Nexus.
Yep.
And then activate it again.
Yep.
And give it flying.
Yep. So, yeah, that's a pretty neat interaction.
It is I love it.
This is also, I think, like one of the premier Urza Saga decks.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, like, some of the problems that a few of the other Urza Saga decks is that they're like multicolored decks, and so when you're playing 4 of a colorless land in a multicolor deck, it can get a little bit weird.
Tell me about it.
Some of the decks, are multicolored but basically monocolored, and they can support that kind of thing. But Hammer does not have that issue.
No, it's white.
It is white. Well, occasionally there's a blue splash.
It's easy with the splash color.
Yeah, this one specifically, mono white.
Yeah, I think this is the best build.
So what are we expecting to see happen here?
Luke is going to try to race Jacob effectively. So Luke's deck has an exceptional removal suite in the form of Yawgmoth, Thran Physician.
Yep.
And Undying creatures that get to repeatedly shotgun his opponent's creatures.
Yep, which is fantastic because a lot of the threats that come out of Hammer are 1/1s.
Correct. He is also playing the new Orcish Bowmasters.
Is he playing Bowmasters?
Yeah, he is.
I didn't get a chance to talk to Luke about his deck.
I did.
He said yesterday that he was not on the One Ring.
He did cut those. He was on 2 of them. He cut them.
Okay.
But he
is playing Bowmasters.
Bowmasters, exceptional
So
card.
Bowmaster seems crazy because it's 2 creatures for one card.
Yeah, and he can sacrifice them to Yawgmoth later too.
Right. That seems insane.
And it's actually surprisingly good in the mirror match. It's great against decks that are running the One Ring, which is
it does seem very good actually in the mirror. So here is a Plains and an Ornithopter and running out a Shadow Spear from Hammer.
Great card.
Luke is going to play a Blooming Marsh and an Ignoble Hierarch, passing back to Jacob here. Jacob takes a draw step.
Hopefully another land. I do think that these decks this is basically their first. We have another Ornithopter. This is their sort of ideal opening turns, right? We're equipping to an Ornithopter, and he's just going to start gaining life.
Yep.
Like, this is just...
So he will take 1 from this Horizon Canopy here, equip the Ornithopter, and attack in for 1.
Yeah.
Pass back to Luke.
Yeah, this is the nice thing about getting this Shadow Spear on the Ornithopter. It's now way less likely to die to Yawgmoth. You have to repeatedly activate it because it gives it a...
Right, so it'd be this is a 1/3 right now,
Correct.
right? Yep.
Yeah. We do have a...
Here's a Grist.
Yeah,
it's going to come down, mill a Grist, which gives it 2. He gets another activation. The second activation is going to get a Overgrown Tomb, and we got 2 bugs.
Yeah, Grist being a bug is super exceptional.
I know, right? It looks like he will pass the turn back to Jacob for his turn 3. Looks like he is going to attack.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jacob
Luke's
is
life points directly.
Yeah, but there's not much that you can do against Grist. Like hammering it down for 1 isn't going to do much.
Looks like he's just going to pass back. You know what I see in Luke's hand?
Is it my rap name?
It Delighted Halfling?
No, Young Wolf.
Okay. I thought maybe your rap name was Delighted Halfling.
No. You know it's Young Wolf. He's attacking for 3.
Yeah, so two exalted triggers here is going to make this bug lots bigger. We're going to activate Grist. Looks like we'll get another bug and pass the turn back. So he's holding up 2 mana here.
Yeah.
What could that be?
Definitely not an Orcish Bowmasters, right?
Weird.
Oh.
Here is an Esper Sentinel.
Doesn't do as much against Luke. Luke's not playing a lot of non-creature spells. Even Grist is a creature spell on the stack. And there it is.
It is. There is the Orcish Bowmasters. Looks like probably flashed in on instep. It's going to deal a damage to this Esper Sentinel.
I don't know that that's correct. I would have just let him draw cards with the Esper Sentinel and shotgunned his.
Here is a Surge of Salvation. That's going to protect the Esper Sentinel. And Luke is not going to get an Orc army out of this.
Surge of Salvation, exceptional card.
Yeah, so I've cast this in Commander a couple of times, and it's card's great.
It gives your whole team protection.
And you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. It's like it protects you from hand attack. It protects your creatures from removal.
Yeah.
And we've got, oh my god, Luke just running out his whole hand here.
Yep, double Young Wolf and Delighted Halfling. Insect is going to hit the red zone for 3 once again. That's going to knock Jacob down to 16.
Grist is at 7 loyalty now.
Luke just being an aggro deck.
And this is sort of the mode that the deck plays on too. He can just start running in with that Young Wolf starting next turn. And what is this? Is that your boy?
That is my son, Skrelv.
Skrelv?
Leave us alone.
Don't touch my son.
So I haven't seen Skrelv in a hammer list. That seems pretty sweet. I mean,
that.
it's basically a Mother of Runes.
Mm-hmm. We got to Convoke.
So here is a Chord of Calling.
Is he going to pay?
It looks like a Chord of Calling for 5?
Yeah, it's
4? It's going to go get Yawgmoth, and it's going to get reprieved. So many
Lord of
the Rings cards.
Yeah. A lot of new cards in general. Skrelv and the protection spell. That's from the Brothers War, right?
It's also Surge of Salvation is from Mom.
Is it from March Machine? Okay.
Yep.
I just know these are all recent cards. It's so funny that.
So it looks like maybe we are main phasing this chord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. We're just getting Yawgmoth.
Actually. Oh, there are multiple bugs on the bug that's a dice.
Correct. That's 3 bugs.
That's several bugs.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a chord for Yawgmoth here. And unless Jacob has something to say about this, that'll just be game over because we have the 2 undying creatures,
Correct.
Right?
2 Young Wolves. We get to draw our whole deck now.
So, we don't get to draw our whole deck.
Well, no.
We got to pay a lot of life.
We just need to get to Blood Artist.
We need to find Blood Artist, yeah.
And
or Chord of Calling
or Eldritch Evolution, or there's a billion cards, and he has tons of mana up right now to do whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, though, the reprieve looked good.
That performed.
I don't know about. I mean, you have to reprieve that, right? Otherwise, it's just game over. But then your opponent just gets to put it back into their hand and draw it again. I don't know if I was super impressed by it.
I think it does really well if your opponent doesn't have a billion mana to recast the card.
Sure, I've always liked remand against a delve spell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's way better. Remanding a Murktide Regent is way more impactful. You're just getting so much more mileage versus a deck that can just easily. Oh, we're getting.
Yeah, here's a Chord of Calling. So this, I would say, is likely going to go find the copy of Blood Artist, and then we should be done at 13. Yep.
So in this game,
Jacob
Blood Artist didn't really get the fast start he was hoping for. He did not get a hammer. or a
right.
Stoneforge to get the hammer.
Yeah.
There's effectively 8 copies of hammer in the deck.
Yeah, and then you have 8 ways to equip it for free. Or no, there's more than that actually, because you have Sigarda's Aid. You have Sigarda's Aid, and then you also have Pure Steel Paladin.
That's right.
To equip for free.
Yeah, there's Urza Saga to find it, Stoneforge to find it, Sigarda's Aid to find. Does Sigarda's Aid find one, or is it just the equip for free for Flash? Sigarda's Aid is just equipped for free with Flash.
Yeah, Sigarda's Aid is
I'm thinking Open the Armory.
Yeah, Sigarda's Aid is just you can play equipment as at instant speed and pay 0 to equip them.
Yeah, the game's not over apparently.
He's making him go through the combo.
Sure.
I don't know. Hammer doesn't play Solitude, I don't think, does it?
I think they would have played it by now. Because
I don't even know if a Solitude does anything here because he can just keep comboing.
Yeah, I think he's drawn so many cards now. Look at Luke's hand.
Here's another copy of Bowmasters. That's going to take out the Esper Sentinel.
Yeah, Luke's
We're going to get an Orc Army here.
It's surprising that Jacob hasn't picked it up. He's effectively tapped out. He has a Solitude in hand. If he has a Solitude...
So Luke being ever conservative and taking care of his board.
Yep. Because he's just got a grip full of cards.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for him to not... For him, like, we've seen Luke before where he loses the combo piece.
So I believe Jacob is actually at 5 here. They've stopped tracking the life in the companion app.
Yeah, we'll see if they pick it. Yeah, okay.
Looks like we're going to scoop these cards up, and we'll go to game 2 here. I was going to step out of the booth for just a second and see what these players' sideboards look like.
All right, be right back, folks.
All right, so Luke is bringing in 2 copies of Force of Vigor, a Haywire Mite, a Ratchet Bomb, and a Filigree Silex.
Interesting.
And Jacob is bringing in a Pithing Needle, 2 copies of Dispatch, and there was a 4th card. I forgot what it was.
Pithing Needle. I've seen a lot of people main board recently.
Yeah, Pithing Needle naming Yawgmoth, just requiring them to have a card that takes care of it. Luke bringing in a bunch of hate for artifacts, though.
Yeah, sort of unfortunate.
That kind of just is what it is. Also, the Ratchet Bomb and the Filigree Silex just being able to kill all the 0s or 1s.
Yeah, because Luke doesn't play any 0s. All of his are 1s. I think the lone exception is Dryad Arbor, but I don't think that can get hit because it's a land.
It's a land. It cannot.
Yeah.
So a quick start here from Hammer. We got a Plains, an Ornithopter, and an Esper Sentinel. Luke's just got a Yawgmoth Cradle of Growth and an Ignoble Hierarch. He's going to pass back to Jacob. He's going to take a draw step, lay down an Urza Saga.
This is what he's hoping for. This is a great opening. Because he can go wide with this Urza Saga if he wants to make artifacts. He doesn't know that Luke has that Ratchet Bomb.
Yes.
That's going to be the thing that...
Yeah, just being able to clean up all of those tokens and then the 0 mana stuff at the same time.
Yeah, I've been got by a Ratchet Bomb on more than one occasion. It's brutal.
So Johnny Connor in the chat says, being able to catch Titans, cards cast with Halfling and suspended spells makes the white remand pretty compelling card moving forward. Modders is a tough environment, though. Hard for new cards to break through. Yeah, you're totally right. That card not having the text counter on there, just return target spell to its owner's hand. Very, very good against stuff that's uncounterable.
It's super clean. I really like the formatting on it.
Yeah, no. I think the card is great. It just didn't look super impressive there. But I like you said, I don't think this is the matchup for that card.
Correct. I think it can.
Still, if you have a clock on your opponent and you're able to keep them off of their combo for one turn, it's gonna come in pretty clutch. So we've got a double Wall of Roots here and Delighted Halfling. Luke just going to be able to make a ton of mana.
Yep. And this is what it wants to do, because you can actually double up on the walls for Convoke,
Yeah, because you can make a mana and then tap it to pay for the Convoke as well. So that's basically 4 mana right there.
Correct. Yeah. And Luke, not really attached to these walls. He'll let him go easy.
He tweeted the other day, I'm further convinced that Wall of Roots is the best card in Yawgmoth.
It's an 0-5. It
Yeah.
has 5 toughness. It's sort of absurd.
It is pretty cracked.
I've played against him on more than one occasion, and I've gotten a really good early threat out, and he's just like, yeah,
So
Wall of Roots.
here is a Yawgmoth Nexus, and then we have a Stoneforge Mystic, which is going to find a copy of Kaldra Complete.
I think that's the correct play.
So, not messing around, gonna make you dead. That's the
Don't be
plan
cute.
here.
Yeah. We already have a way to tutor the hammer in Urza Saga. And Kaldra Complete is basically going to force Luke to interact with the Stoneforge.
Yeah, so if he has like a Pure Steel Paladin or a Sigardizade or something, he can just put 17 power onto one of his creatures.
Oh my god.
For the low cost of 3 mana. That's 1 mana to pay for the hammer, 2 mana to tap the Stoneforge Mystic.
We do have a Yawgmoth out.
So at the very least, yeah. Well, this is very unfortunate because now if he tries to go to Quip, the Yawgmoth can just take care of the creature.
Mm-hmm. I think we're just going to play conservatively and take out the Stoneforge Mystic there.
So it looks like our
Monitors froze a little bit.
camera may have been frozen. Hang on,
Stand by,
just
folks.
a second.
We can see the face cam still operating with Luke and Jacob there. Stand by really quickly.
I'm gonna give the play-by-play in the chat.
All right. Looks like Blake is giving a play-by-play for us while we wait on this camera here. Let's see here. Okay. So last we saw, Luke has the Yawgmoth out. He sort of has a way to interact with the board. We do have a search trigger. So Jacob probably going and finding our hammer now, or Pithing Needle. Ultimately, if he can Pithing Needle, we're going to be able to name Yawgmoth, kind of stop him from executing. We don't have any Undying creatures on the board right now, so Luke can't combo. He can draw a decent amount of cards here by sacrificing some creatures, which he is. He finds a hammer. Okay, so we're putting -1/-1 counters on constructs. Just getting the hammer and trying to go for it, which I think is commendable. Luke's life total not looking that high anymore. We sacrificed a decent number of creatures. We're probably looking lower on life points. But yeah, and we're getting a dispatch. This is sort of a sideboard card to deal with Yawgmoth. This is sort of the reason, I guess, that we didn't get the Pithing Needle out of the board, and Luke is just actively thinking now. On brand for Luke to take his time and be thoughtful. He did draw a decent number of creatures, so unfortunately, if he drew into another copy of Yawgmoth, that's sort of putting even more pressure on Jacob. The redundancy in Yawgmoth is just that it gets to keep drawing. If you can't turn off Yawgmoth, you're just going to be able to keep on drawing into the things that you need to reset your board. And I've seen a lot of times where a board wipe will go on the stack, or some removal spell will go on stack, like some Ratchet Bomb, or engineered explosives to take out all the 1 mana things or 0 mana or 1 mana things on Luke's side, and he will just sack his whole board, draw 7-8 cards. Even if your opponent has no cards on board, he can just decline to put the -1/-1 counter on cards and effectively turn this into a because the creatures are going to die anyway. Turn it into a we're sacking creatures now. Okay, we got a Young Wolf in play. We're putting -1/-1 counters on his opponent's creatures. Yawgmoth has a way that if you're going to lose your creatures anyway, it just becomes a Yawg's Bargain, or a Grizzlebrand, where you're just paying life actively to draw cards, which is sort of appropriate flavor-wise, right? Yawgmoth, you pay life to gain card advantage, gain board position. Luke is at 12 now. He hasn't put a ton of pressure on Jacob's life total, but all he needs is a couple pieces. If he already has a Young Wolf in play, all he needs is a Blood Artist and another Undying creature, which he has a ton of. He's got Strangled Rootgeist, which is the 2-mana Undying creature. He's got more Young Wolves, and he has, I think, a single copy of Blood Artist. I don't think you want a lot of those. You only just need the one to hit the combo. And Luke doesn't honestly need a combo to finish his opponent. I've seen him win many games without comboing off. Ooh, Filigree Silex for Luke. We're sort of seeing a lot of pressure from Luke to take his opponent off board here. Jacob being mostly on 0 and 1 mana cards allows Luke to sort of like establish a presence in a way that is more advantageous to him. Like, I don't think Jacob can run engineered explosive style cards or ratchet bomb style cards because it will just destroy his own board as well. But Luke doesn't really care about losing his creatures. He'll lose all of his 1-drops. It's fine. They either have Undying and come back, or they did their job. He can sacrifice them to Yawg's Will or Yawgmoth, get some amount of advantage, and Filigree Silex, one of the Silexes. I think we got 3 different Silexes over the past couple of years, but it's effectively it's effectively just 2 mana, and then you can sack and destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters on it. You can either tap it to put an oil counter on it, or you just tap it and sack it right away and destroy all 0 mana cards, and that's totally fine. I don't think you're getting to 10 oil counters on it. Ooh, we got a March. So Luke's just gonna sack the Silex, killing the tokens and killing the token and the Ornithopter, and really just putting a lot of pressure on Jacob. The Hammer deck has very little card advantage. It's mostly based in the Esper Sentinel, and I mean technically in Stoneforge Mystic just like replacing itself with an additional card. But as long as Luke is taking care of his opponent's board, like, there's not a lot of card advantage that Jacob can glean from that. How we doing out there? Blake actively feeding me the... so both board is totally empty now. But Luke has 7 cards in hand. This is what we talked about when I said that there is an very little card advantage versus a massive amount of card advantage. Because Luke can just keep on sacking creatures, drawing cards, and Jacob is just sort of at the mercy of the top of his deck. And oftentimes, if your deck likes to punish you in a lot of these situations. I know personally my deck has just tried to give me a beating because I wished and prayed for an additional, the right answer off the top. And more often than not, you're not going to draw it. I don't know exactly what would get Jacob out of this. He needs to have a series of very good draws. I think Urza Saga would be an exceptional draw for him, helping him reestablish some amount of board. We know that Luke has already spent some amount of removal for the construct tokens, and there's so many artifacts in Jacob's deck that those constructs are going to get pretty big, and he still has options, right? There's still hammers in the deck. There's Blinkmock Nexuses that can kind of come out and get through things. Oh, we actually have an Esper Sentinel in play. Okay, so this is exactly what Jacob needed. He needed some sort of card advantage, and now the camera crashed on us. The overhead did.
I'm working on it right now.
Yeah, Blake is working on it right now. Our face cams are still working. You can see Luke and Jacob emoting at each other extremely fervently. I think there's a trickle of blood running down one of their noses. There's been an under-table fight where they're kicking each other pretty extensively.
That's the problem, is Luke kicked the...
Oh, did he kick it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Luke. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and shame Luke really quickly. He's played on camera for us. We don't have a Melee link right now. We need to get that bot set up in our chat. I apologize. We'll have, and we haven't actually released any of the deck lists. We don't do that until we're 3 rounds in. This is the very first round anyway, so there's no standings. We haven't released links yet. You haven't missed anything. Luke took game 1. This is game 2 of the very first match. I think we had 27 players today at my last count. So one person got the bye, and then pretty decent archetype division here. Most people locally have decks that they like, and they stick with them. So whether or not the Lord of the Rings sort of did a shake up.
And we're back.
Hey, we're back. Look at that. Whether or not people have decks have emerged from the Lord of the Rings set.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. We had a little hiccup there. Our friend Luke here, love him dearly. He has a really, really, really intense leg bouncing habit.
I've already shamed him. Don't worry.
And here we are.
Was
so
it 27 players?
A little on the fly troubleshooting, and things are back up and running. So Luke,
wow, that board state is
just
nuts.
very, very far ahead at this point.
So we lost both boards fully, and this is the rebuild.
Yeah. So like I said, they really exchanged a ton of resources while we were off camera. Luke just ended up with 7 cards in his hand, and poor Jacob was just holding on to Caldra Complete and a Plains. So he has continued to fight.
Yeah, you do. He
But
has outs.
But we are at the point here where Luke is actively comboing,
Oh, is he?
and
Okay.
he's just looking for.
He's got a Young Wolf and a Geist.
He's just looking for the win at this point.
Yeah, so what I was talking about when you were gone is that the big difference is Jacob has very little card advantage outside of Esper Sentinel and technically Stoneforge Mystic.
Right, you're really looking to get a lot of card advantage out of the Urza Saga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Which is sort of replacing itself, but also making those tokens. The issue is you're also spending a ton of mana into making those, so it limits your other plays.
Right, and Luke spends no mana.
Yeah, and he can operate at instant speed. A lot of it, like his Yawgmoth activation is instant speed. His Court of Calling is instant speed.
Yep.
I really like both of these decks, but Luke gets to drown his opponent in card advantage. He really doesn't care about his creatures at all. He can just refill his board. I do really like Filigree Silex in this deck, again, in this matchup.
Yeah.
Because you get to do it, it's sort of like a zero, like you're not spending any additional mana resources on it, and that's it. Yeah, Luke got it in 2. It looks like. Great games out there.
Yeah, absolutely. He was really just able to leverage that exchange of resources and Yawgmoth's ability to draw a whole bunch of cards.
Yeah.
The Filigree Silex really cleaning up everything that Jacob was trying to do. Like you said, card looked really, really impressive out there.
Yeah. It's also one, I think it's sort of a bad matchup for Jacob, unfortunately. Not a lot of non-creature spells to give him advantage from the Esper Sentinel.
Yeah, Luke is also one of our top players. So I mean, the dude is just a machine.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure that he is actually just a walking, talking AI.
I would not doubt that. He is technically my arch enemy. He never changes. He always sticks with. Oh my god! Sorry, fiddling with things. He always sticks to the same deck for months at a time.
Mm-hmm. Gets very, very proficient at it.
Very good at it.
Yep.
Only makes changes when it's absolutely necessary.
Yep.
He also doesn't make the dumb changes to decks that I see a lot of people messing with.
Yep, he did try the One Ring in here, but decided he didn't like it.
I'm more talking about the 0-3 for 1 that lets you play an additional land.
Oh, the Yawgmoth decks that were playing Arboreal Grazer and
Arboreal.
the Karoo land.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, fair enough. All right, so that's going to do it for round 1. Luke is going to take it down over Mono White Hammer here.